Welcome back, folks. Hey, by the way, have you signed up yet for the Rod Squad newsletter? It drops every Sunday and it's free for you. Just go to rodpeterson.com, click on newsletter. It's brought to you by Suds Full Service Car Wash. Fuel your fleet's finesse with Suds Regina's unbeatable cleaning packages. They'll shine like new every time. Visit sudsregina.com. Emory Hunt knows the value of a clean car. How you doing, Emory? Season greetings, my friend.
Season's greetings, Rod. I appreciate you bringing me on the show.
It's always good to chat with you, man. You know your ball so well. And listen, before we go any further, we're now on the air in Nevada on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network. I'll get you to introduce yourself to those viewers, plus our usual ones across Canada by this. You're on CBS Sports Network. And by the way, I live in South Florida, as you know. It's headquartered in South Florida. You're very well thought of amongst your CBS Sports Network brethren here. But they tell me that you're in New York. How does that all work?
Well, I mean, we have three locations. You got the one down there in Fort Lauderdale, which is headquarters, and we also have the New York City one that you see on Sundays, NFL Today, or when you see me on college football, Inside College Football. And then we have the one in Stamford, Connecticut, where you primarily see me often in studio for Thursday night football, Monday night football, and throughout the week. If you see me on, it's usually one of those three spots. So I will say this: if you're seeing me on CBS Sports HQ and CBS Sports Network during the day, it's coming out of Florida. After 6 o'clock, you're seeing it out of Stanford.
Oh, well, thank you for the clarification because I never really knew where you're a busy guy, and I appreciate you finding the time for us. And like football is your thing. And we had a good friend on here yesterday, Matt DeBuck, head coach, Cardinal Gibbons High School here in Florida, three-time state champion. And he said, this is the pinnacle of football season right now. So before we get into breaking it all down, I don't know if you would agree Phillip Rivers is the number one story right now, but he's dang near up there. What's your take on it?
It's fascinating, man. And again, I'm not an NFL player or former NFL athlete. I played in college, but I will say this. I'll show you this right quick. See this right here on my one of my bookshelves? Me and Phillip
Yeah.
Rivers are on the same game. This is so I'm 44, he's 44, but it's always shocking to see him out there playing. I'm just amazed that he's been out there running around taking hits because I can't even fathom falling down right now, let alone playing a football game at that level in that significant moment. So shout out to him, man. Still getting it done at 44. I stopped playing I think the last time I was in a full-fledged sprint, Rod, was when I was 26 years old. So to be able to see him get out there off the couch and do that, man, shouts out to Phillip Rivers.
Are you then one of these guys, because I've seen many, that want to come out of retirement because of what Phillip Rivers is doing? That's what I'm hearing the last couple of days. He's inspiring old ballers like yourself to get off the couch and get in shape and send in some tapes.
Never, ever, ever had the thought. Unless maybe if I was a punter, absolutely, right? I could still swing the leg a little bit, but any other position outside of punter, not happening.
Yeah. And well, having said that, though, we're all rooting for him. I mean, I don't know how we thought this was going to go, but those first two games, he was never going to win it. I mean, I've heard talk that he's talking about coming back next year, but that can't be right.
I will say this though. Shout out to him increasing his health insurance for all 38 kids he has. We saw them
Yeah.
at the game, that whole section by themselves. I mean, he's dad of the year for that alone. I don't have kids, but I know that cost probably adds up with all those kids, all those young kids. Like, listen, go do what you have to do. Go out there, sling it around a little bit. Don't get hurt, but help us get health insurance for another 5 or 6 years or whatever. So kudos to Phillip Rivers seeing the big picture and playing the long game.
Well, I tell you what, when you look at the top stories of the year, let's just stick to football. I mean, that's easily top three. And I don't want to catch you off guard, but like, what would be some of the other? I feel like this is so far the top story. I mean, once we get into some more firings and stuff, there will be other stories. But what are the others that are captivating people right now that you see?
Well, outside of Phillip Rivers story, but just the fact that this is a truly up in the air Super Bowl chase. Because if I were to ask
Yeah.
you who's the best team in the NFL, you'll get like 17 different answers, which is great for the NFL. The AFC is up for grabs. You know, from 1 to 7 could win the Super Bowl or represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. On the NFC side, you 1-7, all teams that have a legitimate shot to win the Super Bowl. So I think the fact that this year's championship run is up for grabs is a great thing. That's a huge story. And the other stories kind of ties to that. This is a playoff where we probably won't see Lamar Jackson. We probably won't see Patrick Mahomes. The same cast of characters that we're used to seeing, we're not gonna see, and that in and of itself is a big story. I just feel like those three stories have dominated. Even though this Philip Rivers one is more recent, but they have dominated the landscape.
Well, I think I'm having a connection issue here. I think you can hear me well enough. When we talk about quarterbacks, here we go. Here in Miami, we're looking for the next one. I understand. Yeah. Here I'm talking about the next one, and I don't Quinn Ewers. The Miami quarterback situation is a story. What from up there in New York?
Well, here's what I like Quinn Ewers as a player. I felt like he needed to take a year just to rest and get his body up because he was banged up from the time he got to Texas to the time he left Texas. So him being a backup would have been a great thing because there's less contact on the body. But because Tua hasn't played really well, he has to now get thrust into action. I thought he started the game rather well against Cincinnati, and then things just fell apart. I do think he has a place in this league. It's going to be interesting to see how he competes with Zach Wilson, who I thought looked really well under Sean Payton when he was in Denver, and he looked solid in the preseason in Miami. So I think that's going to be a good battle going back and forth. Now, I don't know the details of the contract with Tua. It sounds like it's going to be hard to move off of him completely without eating a chunk of that salary and dead cap money. But you like that you have two young guys behind him that'll get their bones up to speed and get ready to go. But I like the start of Quinn Ewers. It just didn't finish well. I'd like to see another start, maybe get Zach Wilson in that last game to see what you have in him. Because I still feel like Zach Wilson could be the next wave of these, quarterbacks that have gotten a second opportunity to start and be solid, like the Sam Darnold, like the Mayfields, like those kind of guys. I mean, what he put on tape in a brief showing with Sean Payton was like, wow, he looks completely different than what we've seen from him in a Jets uniform. Remember, when he came out, he was rather young. He was like 20, 21. So he still has a lot more runway to go. So I'll be interested to see how he does in Miami if he gets that opportunity.
Well, there are 5 all sports radio stations here in South Florida, and every single one is what they're talking about now, Emory, is where is Tua going to play next year? They don't care about they're all forgetting they don't have a GM. So number one, they need to hire a GM, right? But they're basically moving on. But what I'm sitting, you said you played college ball. What position did you play?
Running back.
Okay, well, the offensive side of the ball. I'm looking at Quinn Ewers. He looked like a guy making his first pro start. That's what he looked like on Sunday. You would hope that he would get better. But out of him or Shedeur, I feel like Shedeur has it. I haven't watched every snap that the Browns have, but he looks like he has it. I'm not sure Quinn has it. Out of the two, which one would you take?
Shedeur is my number one quarterback in the draft class this past season. And so the fascinating part about Shedeur is just that. That's his elite trait, the it. And a lot of people act like you can't see the it. The it to me is what you do in situational football moments. How many times do you watch those Colorado games and he's backed up 90 yards away and they need a touchdown to stay in the game, and he's driving them down the field to stay in the game, and then sometimes in overtime to win the game. And so what really frustrated me about the whole Shedeur Sanders thing was that you had draft analysts, and I consider myself one, but I'm not talking about me, obviously, but you had draft analysts saying from January 2024 to April 2025, he was your QB1 or QB2, or at worst, a top 40 talent. So just because he goes in round 5, now all of a sudden your top 40 first round talent is no longer good. To me, if you're a true draft analyst, you're probably saying, wow, that's great value for the Browns. So now from that point, you had to convince yourself that Dylan Gabriel was a better prospect than Shedeur Sanders. And then from April 2025 to September 2025, you've told the masses that Drew Aller, Garrett Nussmeier, Carson Beck, Lenora Sellers, all of these Clay K. Klubnik were all better than Shedeur Sanders, and they're going to be first. Then they flop in September and throughout the rest of the season. And now you speak in Spanish because you talk about Fernando Mendoza, whom you never brought up all summer. So I wish people just was honest with themselves because what to me that tells me that your draft evaluation isn't worth the paper it's written on. Because if you're going to stand 10 toes down, if a guy goes in the fifth round that you had as a first round grade, then he still is that first round talent that you saw. Now he's getting that opportunity. So I said I'd like to say he is what he is in Cleveland. If Cleveland is smart, they build around him and they have their guy on a fifth round contract. And now that helps you add talent throughout the rest of the team.
See, here's the thing, Emory. From the very first time you were on this show, I knew that you had the it. I just knew it. We'd never met, and I kind of just cracked the rock, and all the magic beans just fell out of you talking about Shadur and everything else. But I got to ask you, why did he drop?
Well, listen, the league is a funny thing, man. I will say it had nothing to do with talent because if it did, then he would have gone early. So there was something there that's beyond my purview, beyond my pay grade. But I will say this: it doesn't matter where you end up. When you go is about where you go. I think he landed in a great situation. He's embraced Cleveland. Cleveland has embraced him, and you're sitting out there on the field. And here's the thing: people will look at the numbers, but your eyes don't lie, man. When you're watching the game, it looks different when he's out there, juxtaposed to when Dylan Gabriel was out there, and you can see the games, no matter the stat line, and you can say, well, they're not losing because of him. Like, man, he needs a little bit more help. And so, if you're saying that, then you got a guy that you could build around. I think a lot of times in the media, we tend to push the narrative that you have to have a first round quarterback to win. When history tells us, no, you don't. I mean, we can go down the line. You got Jalen Hurts right now, second round pick, arguably the top quarterback in my opinion out that draft class because Burrow's been hurt, so Burrow will be my number two. But Hurts a second round pick, and when you look at Joe Montana, third round pick, Tom Brady, sixth round pick. So you can go on and on and on throughout his. Ken Anderson, third round pick, Colin Kaepernick, second round pick, Andy Dalton had a nice career with the Bengals, second round pick. So you could find Russell Wilson, third round pick, Brock Purdy, seventh round pick. So Dan Fouts, third round. So I can go on and on, right? But the thing is, we have now sold the masses that first round quarterback, if not a first round quarterback, you can't win without it. Like, that's BS, man. You only get 7 picks a draft. You know what I'm saying? So if you can find good talent, no matter where you draft them. It benefits you to get them early because no one else will grab them. But if you get them late, it benefits you even more so because now you got them on that lower contract that helps you build around that young talent.
I'll tell you what, as a player, nobody would ever admit this, and the kids don't know it, but you probably want to go later because the pressure is exponentially less. Nobody expected anything out of Shadur in Cleveland, and he lit up the Vegas Raiders, which I understand everybody did in the first game. But he's been decent. Whereas when you are a first rounder, especially top 5, I can't even imagine. I mean, frankly, I'm happy for Drake May, what he's doing in New England. But Zach Wilson here is all pissed off he didn't get a chance to play on Sunday. I mean, the pressure on Zach Wilson was immense, especially when you mentioned where you go. I don't think anybody wants to go to New York ever as a top end quarterback.
You got to be built different, man. Like if you are not mentally tough or just mentally obtuse, then you're not going to survive out here because you get it from every. Case in point, Jackson Dart had a bad game against the Minnesota Vikings. I would say that game ended about 4:30, 4:15, 4:16 p.m. Eastern time. Everybody's like, well, listen, you got to go and get Fernando Mendoza now if you're the Giants. You got to really look at tape. I'm like, man, body ain't even cold yet, and you talking about moving on from this dude that you took in the first round. So, like, I don't know. I know we are in an internet era, and folks have gone crazy. Everything is immediate, but let people have the ups and downs. This is just one game. Yes, it was 33 yards passing in 2025. I get it. But at the end of the day, there were some drops in there. You know the whole situation around. I think nowadays folks lack context, and so they don't want to. They pick and choose when they want to. Like if I was to say Jalen Hurts is the QB1 right now, I'll get my mentions blown up by thousands of Chargers super fans and defenders. If you gave Herbert this and this and this and this, he could do exactly what Jalen Hurts is doing. So you just basically said Herbert needs the same things that Hurts has to have success, but you're using the same things to knock Jalen. Like, it makes no sense. So
No, no,
I
no, no,
just
no.
think that
Yeah.
need to have some context, some nuance, zoom out a little bit, enjoy the game, and a player's play will allow you to see who's the liability and who's a true asset.
Well, what I will tell you is this: as we get closer, we're not even in the new year yet, but when we get closer to the spring and the draft, when I hear people say, "Well, the mock drafts say this," I just walk away. Stop. I don't care because everybody's wrong all the time. Emory Hunt is with us from CBS Sports Network and CBS HQ. By the way, you still following the CFL as much as you always have?
Oh, I'm locked in with all the pro leagues. So I was step for step from week 1 to week 18 to the Great Cup. I was shocked that the Great Cup felt like it was earlier this year than the years pre. I felt like it was a week earlier.
It was.
Usually it's right there on Thanksgiving. So it was just like, I was like, dang, like we had the CFL championship already. So yeah, I'm always locked in with the Great Cup.
Well, it's way, way, way too early to talk about next season because free agency is still 2 months away, and all the teams are loaded with free agents. But what did you think of the season overall? It was like the NFL season's been crazy, unpredictable, great last minute finishes. CFL had all of that. They always kind of have, but
Yeah,
it was a fun season.
well, I hated that the injury killed what I thought was going to be a super special season for the Alouettes. I felt like before the quarterbacks got banged up, they looked like a legit wagon. They looked like a juggernaut. I felt like they were gonna run the tables. Then they had to go through the quarterback. Then they got it back in late, and then you know what I'm saying. But it wasn't the same. It never was the same because of the injuries. I also thought, it was fat. I was a big Trey Ford guy, and I was big on him getting that opportunity, and he got it. And then it still was kind of inconsistent. Like, okay, young guy, build around him. But I have to admit, the team looked different, got better with Fajardo back there at quarterback, and it raised the floor of the team. They looked competitive down the stretch. And I just love the fact that we got really, outside of a few teams, competitive ball week in, week out. We couldn't really tell who was going to beat who. You thought the BC Lions had it, and then nope. And then so you thought Argos had the issues also, but it looked like, okay, they got their sea legs, and then nope, not them either. So it was fast. I thought the injury was really beat up the entire league, and we kind of limped to the end, but it was still great nonetheless.
Yeah, you don't want it to be predictable. I mean, if you were
Right.
placing bets, you would like that, but I don't think the league wants it to be predictable. By the way, Joe Lazito is watching online. He writes in and he says, "Great conversation, gentlemen. It's chats like this that remind me how blessed I am as a Bills fan to have Josh Allen. I had a Bills Detroit Super Bowl. Well, we got less than a minute, but am I out to lunch?"
Well, yeah, on the Lions side of things, the Bills are in it. Like the Lions are gonna be outside looking in, watching from afar. But the Bills do have a shot. Here's the thing about the Bills: if they could just stop the run, they'll be fine. That's going to be the biggest concern for them going forward. And don't forget, you got James Cook on your team. Had they remembered that last year, they blow out Kansas City and they go to the Super Bowl. But they stopped giving him the ball, and that's how the Chiefs came back and won the game.
Well, the Bills have stubbed their toe. They still talk about their game here at Miami, and they stubbed it at Houston. So it scares me a little bit. But yeah, they are fun to watch, and they got a great quarterback. Emory Hunt, Merry Christmas, season's greetings, happy holidays. Thanks for this, man. You're great. Hope we can do it in the new year.
Same to you and yours, Rod. I appreciate you as always having me on, man.
Emory Hunt joining us from CBS Sports Network and CBS Sports HQ. Coming right back with a sports update and viewer takeover the rest of the way here on the Silver State Sports Entertainment Network.